substances we talked about. We're having war on destructive lifestyle practices. The next section is called War on Neglect and Abuse of the Body. We neglect our bodies, we abuse our bodies, and sometimes we don't even know that we're doing that. I'll tell you that Don Krause has had me teach with a checkbook. And with that checkbook, I talk about how when we're born, we're given 120 years of life if we have healthy parents, and we spend those checks as we live. And if we spend them too fast, live in the fast lane, and do some of these things, neglect and abuse of the body, then we're going to spend our checks faster than we should, and we'll die younger. That's why so many people don't live as long as they should. And so that's what we're going to talk about right now. First of all, we tried to get energy from food. I know I did it myself for so many years. I ate for energy. You should never have to eat for energy. If you do, that's a good sign you have hypoglycemia. You want to test yourself with a written test. But we only get 5 or 6% of our energy from food, from the food that we eat. We get most of our energy from, I've got some canned sunshine here that my mom sent me from Florida, and this isn't the kind that I'm talking about. I'm talking about the kind outside, of course. We get 80% of our energy from fresh air and sunshine, and yet we're trying to get it from food. And so when we're tired, we should really stick our head out of the window and take some deep breaths. Take some really deep breaths. Breathe through the nose and hold that breath. Breathe as deeply as you can. We have shallow breathing, and we don't use our lungs like we should. And hold that breath, and then let it out and hold it out as long as you can. Give your body some oxygen. We don't use our lungs like we should. That's one of the things, the reasons why we have problems with our bodies is that there's not enough oxygen. There's a pollution in the body. It's not being fed properly. And the water that we drink. Here's a book that I really like. It's called Your Water and Your Health by Dr. Alan E. Bannock. And he talks about all the impurities in the water, the chemicals in the water that we drink. We're led to believe that they're safe, but they're not safe. And we should be drinking distilled water because distilled water helps pull the impurities out. This book will tell you why. You can get it from your bookstore or have them order it. Now, another thing is we have dirty colons. And as we get older, we have more and more impurities. And this book, Become Younger, and there are a lot of other books. There's a book called, here's a tape called Colon Therapy. There are a lot of books at health food stores about how you can cleanse your colon with herbs, and there are a lot of different things that you can do to take care of your colon, because, as they say, if the sewer is plugged up, the whole house is in trouble. We need to exercise. Now, that doesn't mean run right out and join an aerobics class, because my nutritionist teaches that high-impact aerobics are very damaging and hard on you. I read about a lot of people out jogging that have heart attacks, and one of the reasons why is they're breaking things loose from the artery and the artery walls, and it will make a clogging somewhere. But the other reason is because it's too much like work. That's the main reason, not only hard on your joints. So the kind of exercising that we should do is gentle exercising with deep breathing at the same time. Now, probably the best exercising is walking. Walking at a speed when you can still breathe through your nose and not through your mouth. Because when you breathe through your nose, then the air is warmed. When you breathe through your mouth, that's a sign that you're exercising too hard, because you don't want to overburden your body. You want to have relaxing exercise and at the same time take really deep breaths through your nose while you're exercising. Besides walking, the other one that's excellent is the mini trampoline. And all you have to do is raise your heels on the mini trampoline up and down and bounce gently. And then this book is called Rebounding Exercise by Morton Walker, and tells about the value of using a little mini trampoline to clean out your lymphatics, which is so important. So one of the other things that we talk about is lack of rest and sleep. People just drive themselves so hard and they don't get enough rest. When you're tired, a lot of people run to the refrigerator instead of resting. Go lay down for 10 minutes. And lack of sleep, and they stay up all hours of the night watching all kinds of programs on television, when you should be in bed by 10 o'clock at night. The best hours to be in bed are between 10 o'clock at night and 2 o'clock in the morning, because that is when the body regenerates the fastest according to the way the earth rotates. If you're not in bed during that time, every hour that you're up, it takes 2 hours to make up. So you can see if you go to bed during that time, then you'll have more energy to do your work. There are a lot of toxic substances, and that's what the fight against pollution is about. But we also have toxic substances on our fruits and vegetables, pesticides and fertilizers, things that need to be washed off. So make sure you wash your fresh produce. I use Shackley's Basic H, but the health food stores would have a vegetable soak and fruit soak, so that you would be able to get these toxic substances off of your foods. Of course, you got to know that you're not going to get them all off. There's this book called Pesticide Alert, Guide to Pesticides in Fruits and Vegetables, because they're sprayed as they're grown. So a lot of them are the pesticides are right inside the fruits and the vegetables, and you can't wash them off. Another book that book was by Lori Mott and Karen Snyder, by the way. Another book is Toxic Food by Carl Lowe, What You Need to Know to Feed Your Family Safely. Here's another one called The Mirage of Safety, Food Additives and Federal Policy by Beatrice Trum Hunter. And there are other things besides the unwashed fruits and vegetables. There are chemicals at home and at work. For example, fluoride, which we think is so good for us, isn't necessarily that good for us. In the drinking water, that's why we should be drinking bottled water. Here is one called Fluoride and the Aging Factor, How to Recognize and Avoid the Devastating Effects of Fluoride by Dr. John Moianis, with a Y, Y-I-A starts out, if you want to get that book. Fluoride and the Aging Factor. It is an excellent book about the damaging effects of fluoride in the water, in the toothpaste, and the fluoride treatments. Another thing, metal toxicity that we have